Okay, welcome to the Budget and Appropriations Committee. I'm Danielle McCray. I'm chair of the committee. I'm also the councilwoman for the 2nd District. At this time, I want to ask that everyone please take a brief moment to silence any cell phones or devices that you have. And joining us today, we have members of the committee. Isaac Yitzi Schleifer, representing the 5th District. We also have Vice President Sharon Gray Middleton, representing the 6th District, as well as Councilman Paris Gray, representing the 8th District. In addition, we have council members joining us. Councilman Zach Blanchard from the 11th District, Councilman Mark Conway from the 4th District, Councilwoman Odette Ramos from the 14th District, and Councilman Mark Parker from the 1st District. In addition, we have several representatives from the Mayor's Office, the City Council President's Office, as well as the Office of Council Services. And staff in our committee today is Paroma Nani. Today, the committee is going to hear 25-0 Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 2026, 25-0061 Annual Property Tax Fiscal Year 2026, 25-0075 Operating Budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for fiscal year ending 2026. Just a reminder of the committee rules. Only committee members are going to be allowed to ask questions during this hearing. I'm going to acknowledge any submitted amendments, and committee members will have the opportunity to make a motion. In addition, no public testimony will be held during today's hearing. We're going to begin with 25-0060, Ordinance of Estimates for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. And this bill was introduced on May the 12th, 2025. There is an amendment as a package to 25-0060. And we're going to have brief comments from our BBMR Director, Laura Lawson, this time.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman McCray, members of the City Council, Laura Larson, City Budget Director. The amendment before you, referenced by Chairwoman McCray, is an amendment that seeks to do a number of transfers within the FY26 Ordinance of Estimates to General Fund Appropriations. In total, this amendment reallocates just over $7.7 million in General Fund Appropriations. A number of highlights within that $7.7 million is allocating $2 million in additional funding for the Mayor's Office of Immigrant and Multicultural Affairs, allocating $250,000 for startup costs associated with establishing the Department of Consumer Protection and Business Licensing, and $750,000 to support the zero waste curbside yard collection pilot. This item was funded by various reductions throughout the general fund budget, including scaling back contractual spending, savings from a number of vacant positions, reallocating funds from the miscellaneous general special projects account, and then scaling back funding for new positions that were part of the fiscal 26 budget.
Make a motion to move the amendment. Is there a second? And yes, actually, I apologize. Any questions from committee members?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just missed the last thing you said, where all of this came from in the budget, if you can just repeat that part.
Yes, so it's a combination of reductions that are spread across various appropriations. The items that were highlighted include eliminating a number of vacant positions, scaling back contractual costs, and then looking to scale back funding for newly created positions that were included as part of the 26 budget.
Okay, and what are those newly created positions?
It is scaling back a portion of funding that was allocated for the law department to support the affirmative action litigation team, and then scaling back funding that was allocated in the Department of Housing and Community Development for the Vacants Initiative.
Okay, thank you.
Are
Thank you,
there any
Madam Chair.
additional, you're very welcome. Are there any additional questions? Okay, so I'm going to, excuse, are there any additional questions from committee members?
Yeah, I got another question.
Sure.
Laura, if you can just talk a little bit about what the transportation minus $750,000 is?
Yes, so that is a reduction to service 697 traffic safety. That's actually based off of action that happened in Annapolis this General Assembly session. This service includes costs associated with the city's traffic camera program. Legislation passed this spring removes the requirement for sworn officer certification of traffic citations once they're issued. Now, starting in October of this year, that certification can happen by civilian staff that meet certain training requirements. So the savings in traffic safety is taking out the sworn overtime costs that's currently performed by the police department that will no longer be needed after this fall.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to make a motion for this amendment. And my motion has been made. And we're going to go to the vote at this time. Okay, for Danielle McCray, I'm a yes. For Isaac Yitzi Schleifer, Councilman Schleifer.
Yes.
For Councilwoman Middleton. Yes. For Councilman Gray. Yes. And for Councilman Antonio Glover.
Yes.
Okay, so this motion has passed. On your desk, we have another proposed amendment by Councilman Gray. Is there a motion to move the amendment? Okay, a motion has been made for Danielle McCray. We're going to do a vote at this time. For Danielle McCray, I am a no. Isaac Yitzi Schleifer, Councilman Schleifer.
Can Councilman Gray just tell us what this is?
Of course. Councilman Gray, can you explain your amendment?
Yes, it's moving funding from this is a amendment that was requested by Councilwoman Ramos and was introduced by me, and it would be taking money from the state's attorney's office and putting it over to the OIG for the additional pen they would need for employment.
And how much money is it?
How much money would you be moving from the state's attorney's office to the office of the inspector general with your proposed amendment?
$112,000.
Should I vote?
Councilman Schleifer, we're going to get back to the vote. Councilman Schleifer?
Yeah, can I just explain my vote?
Sure.
Yeah, so while I do fully support the OIG's office, I certainly don't want to be pulling a pin or any funding away from the state's attorney's office with the great work they've been doing, so I vote no.
Thank you. Councilwoman Middleton? No. Councilman Gray? No. Councilman Glover?
No.
Okay, so the motion on this amendment has failed. Is there a motion to move this bill as favorable with amendments? Danielle McCray is a yes, and I'm sorry, I need to make a motion, I apologize. I'm going to motion to move this bill as favorable with amendments. And we're going to do the vote at this time. Danielle McCray is a yes. Councilman Schleifer?
Which bill? Is this the annual ordinance estimates?
That is correct.
Okay, I vote no.
Councilwoman Middleton? Yes. Councilman Gray? Yes. Councilman Glover? Okay, so this motion has passed favorable with amendments 4-1. Next, we're going to be going over the annual property tax fiscal year 2026. As a reminder, this is for the purpose of providing a tax for the use of the mayor and city council of Baltimore for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and setting a semi-annual payment service for that period. This bill was introduced on May the 12th, 2025. Are there any questions regarding this bill? Okay, seeing and hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to move this bill as favorable. We're going to do a vote at this time. Danielle McCray is a yes. Councilman Schleifer?
No.
Councilwoman Middleton? Yes. Councilman Gray? Yes. Councilman Glover? Yes. Okay, so this motion has passed favorably 4-1. This bill is going to move to second reader at today's council meeting. Last, we have the operating budget for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for fiscal year ending 2026. As a reminder, this is for the purpose of approving a budget estimated to be needed for the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners for operating programs during fiscal 2026, providing for certification of the approved budget to the state superintendent of schools and providing for a special effective date. This mayor and city council resolution was introduced to the Baltimore City Council on May 15th, 2025. Are there any questions at this time? Okay, seeing and hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to move this resolution as favorable, and we're going to do a voice vote at this time. Danielle McCray is a yes. Councilman Schleifer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Middleton? Councilman Gray? Yes. Councilman Glover? Yes. Okay, this motion has passed favorably. This resolution will move to the second reader at today's council meeting, and that was 5-0 on that vote. This committee is now adjourned.